turn things over to what they think with the Algerian flag on them. So this is unfortunately what happens. And I did not yet touch the problem of terror, of blowing up of train stations as happened in Brussels. I don't talk about what happened in the nightclub in the Bataclan in last November in the Stadium of Paris. What happened in Germany only last week, four cases of beheading and stabbing in the train, and in this Polish woman, pregnant woman who was beheaded, and the priest in Normandy. Okay, and these things are matters of everyday today. Of course, this is the fashion today. And this fashion comes as, I would say, infiltration of ideas through the media from the Islamic State, which today is in Iraq and Syria. No doubt, they reintroduced the old traditions of beheading people into the public sphere by issuing clips, and there are hundreds of clips, many of them I have on my computer, of how they behead people with much pride, and yes, and they do it because this is the way how to deal with the infidels, those who refuse to convert to Islam. Now, again, I'm not saying that all the Muslims are terrorists, definitely, but unfortunately too many believe that the way how to relate or how to convince those who refuse to convert to Islam is the violent way, if the non-violent way does not work. So what happens today in Europe is, in my view, the continuation of the old traditions of beheading, accelerated by the fashion which the Islamic State introduced through the social media and the clips which everybody can watch through their cell phones when they go to the websites of the Islamic State and they watch the clips, how they explicit means they don't even try to hide how they slaughter people, how they cut their throats, how the blood is running from those wounds, and what they do. And of course, in the background you hear Islamic chants and songs and all kinds of slogans, which so the video and the audio inlets to the mind of the person. He gets into this. He starts to believe that this is the way. And look, even if 1 of 1,000 Muslims who emigrated to Europe believes in it, it's way too much, because we are today talking about millions or dozens of millions. If we're talking about France, Britain, Germany, Italy, Spain, Belgium, Holland, and other countries in Europe, definitely we're talking about dozens of millions of people. So if only 1 of 1,000 of them, we have hundreds of thousands or dozens of thousands of jihadists who are ready to take the knife or the machete and start slaughtering people. This is way too many. Way too many. So here the quantity becomes quality. Because even if 1 of 1,000, and the reality is way above 1 of 1,000, is attracted by these methods of the Islamic State, which appears as the way how to deal with the infidels, how to deal with the Christians, how to deal with Jews, and how to deal with all those who are against us, including Shia and other Sunnis who are moderate people who do not share our views. So this is, unfortunately, what happens. And yes, many Muslims also are the victims of those thugs, of those radical Muslims who employ the methods of the 7th century only because Islam, as was formulated in the 7th century, is valid every place and in every time. And all the rest is news, but not even history. It's the daily news. almost every day we hear, if the media leaves the conferences and the conventions aside, which occupy almost 100% of the time of the media in this country, also we hear about jihad occurrences in other places. And this is actually the name of the game, jihad. And this actually engulfs everything. Because jihad is not only the attempt to spread Islam by the sword, everything which Muslim is doing in order to promote Islam and to spread it all over the world enters under the umbrella of jihad. There is a media jihad if you preach through the media. There is economic jihad if you employ the economic ways how to convince people to enter Islam. There is a prayer jihad. If you cannot do anything, you pray for the success of the jihad. And there are many, many manifestations of jihad, including the violent manifestations, but not only. And this is what we have to understand. That even the da'wah, which we could maybe accept as a way how to spread Islam by the good way, is part of the jihad. And if it fails, people will resort to the violent sides of jihad. But jihad definitely is meant to have the word of Allah above and the word of the infidels under. This is actually what the jihad is meant for in all its manifestations. The education jihad, the media jihad, the economic jihad, the moral jihad, whatever jihad there is, it meant this, and of course the violent jihad as well. So if I try to wrap the issues, Islam in its own view is there in order to take the whole world under the wings of Islam. And there is no better today to demonstrate this idea than the coins which the Islamic State issues. And this is something which I think people should fasten their seatbelts. Let me show you. The Islamic State, first of all, it's a state. It's nothing but a state. There are people who try to depict it as an organization, but an organization has no territory. A state has a territory, and they do have a territory yet. Of course, they are now under attack. Maybe they will lose the territory, but as long as they have a territory, they are a state. And a state, in this case, behaves in a way which a state behaves. For example, issues coins. This is the 5 dinar coin which they issue. It says here Ad-Dawla al-Islamiyya, means the Islamic State, without Syria and Iraq, ISIS. It's IS. Without the second IS anymore. 21 karat, 5 dinar, 21 and a quarter gram, the weight. And here it's Khilafa ala minhaj al-nubuwa, means caliphate on the style of the prophecy. Means we are a caliphate, a state of caliphate, which emulates the style of the prophecy. Means we are the real or the only implementation of the prophecies of Muhammad, peace be upon him. All the other countries, Islamic countries, they went astray. We are the real Islam. This is one side of the coin. The other side is this. This is 5 in Arabic, there's circles. This is 5. This is 1436, last year. In Islamic counting, it's 1436. Today is 37. Okay, because they started in the year 622 in the Hijrah, right? But the rest is geography. And you can see that the world, according to their aspirations, is shown without borders. Why? Because the borders are something which the infidels drew. Allah created one world. And the one world should be one world under Allah, under the Islamic rule, which is the only religion in the world, under the Sharia, under the Caliph, and this how peace will come to the world. Because all the wars came to the world because of the infidels who divided the world to states, and those states are fighting each other on all kinds of issues like territory and interest. And this should be, all those borders should be erased, because this is against the will of Allah. Allah created one world and not many states. So this is why the borders should be erased, and Islam should reign the whole world, and this is when peace will come to the world. Pax Islamica. Okay? And this is, now, when people see this, they fall in love with this. This is what should be. Why states? We don't need those borders. Everybody can be Muslim. Everybody should Muslim. Everybody was born Muslim. So this is why, how everything falls in the right place. When this whole ideology actually is very coherent, as you can see, it supports itself because it's self-evident, because everything there is in the evidence for the other thing, and this building, which is very well built by the Islamic clerics and ideologues, definitely convinces people to follow it, because it gives the whole scheme of life, scheme for the whole world, for the state, or for the legitimate state which should be raised, for the society, for the family, for the person, every level of mankind should follow the Islam, because Islam has answers to all the questions and everything in the world. And this is what they show. And since their way is to behead people who do not agree with this, people in San Bernardino think this is the way, people in Orlando think this is the way, people in Boston, or in Times Square, or in Belgium, or in France, or in Germany, wherever they are, fall in love with this. Not only this, there are many organizations which already pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. And this is another thing which the Islamic State very proudly shows wherever they can. They show this map of organizations almost all over the world which pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. For the Palestinian Authority, they have in Gaza some organizations which are part of the idea of the Islamic State. Egypt, especially in Sinai, Tunisia, Algeria, the Sahara, means Chad, I think, Libya, Mali, Nigeria, Boko Haram, Sudan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Chechnya, Philippines, Malaysia, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. In these countries, there are not only individuals, but organizations which pledge allegiance to the Islamic State, means they are the long hand of the Islamic State. So the immigration of these people to those countries definitely bring people from the Islamic State, which are gathering with people from those states which identify with the Islamic State, and this way those bring the experience from the jihad fields of Syria and Iraq to the people who are willing to emulate it, who live in Europe, and this combination is lethal to the European countries, and I'm afraid that here is the same. So this is more or less what happens today, especially through the media. The Atlantic is not wide enough to keep the United States away from these phenomena. How do I know? Since the mother of all these organizations are the Muslim Brotherhood, we have to look at what happens here with the Muslim Brotherhood. I want to show you a document. This document is in Arabic, Muzakira Tafsiriya, which was caught in the Holy Land Foundation case. I think in Florida also it was, in Tampa. This is a government exhibit. So this is an official document. It's not something which I authored. What is it? The official document also contains the translation to English, which is from the middle. I'll show you what it is in English. Here it starts. In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, thanks be to God, Lord of the two worlds, means this world and the next. Prayers and peace be upon the masters of the messengers, means Muhammad. An explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal of the group, for the group, which is the Muslim Brotherhood, in North America, and this was authored in May 1991, means more than 25 years ago, on this soil. What does it say in this document? I won't read the whole thing. It will take like an hour. And I highly recommend that you download it. You can find it for free on the internet. Just Google an explanatory memorandum. There is only one document in the whole internet which is under this title. Explanatory memorandum. Read it through. Because in this document, the second part is in English, means the official translation. The original was in Arabic, which is the first part, the first half. The second is the English translation, official translation, is what are the stages which they plan in order to take America over, in order to convert America to Islam, or to turn America into an Islamic state. Definitely long process, but they know what they want. But the most interesting thing is the list of organizations which already are there in order to carry out this plan. And I think that you heard at least about some of them. ISNA, Islamic Society of North America, MSA, the Muslim Students Association, very active on campus until this very day. MCA, MSSS, all kinds of organizations. ITC, Islamic Teaching Center. The CARE does not appear here because CARE was founded some years later, after 1991, by combining some of these organizations together. Because this is how CARE was established. So you can consider CARE also as part of the list, because the organizations which are CARE combined together, means combined are CARE together, are already here on this list. So,
little experience with CARE in the legislature, outside of the fact that they had tried to rush our dais in the committee meeting, but I asked the representative directly if they had any history or connection with the Muslim Brotherhood, and obviously she said no. The reason is that she, and she's the representative for Florida for the organization, they have become, under American law, a not-for-profit organization. So therefore, they can conduct many of the things without fear of retribution of their connections with these other organizations.
Definitely, and this is called taqiyya in Arabic, means deception, working undercover, make face as if. It's all together, this taqiyya. Definitely well known method of how to behave in hostile environments in order to survive and in order to promote their cause until the day that they don't need anymore the taqiyya and they come out as they are. Look, if you see what happens in Europe, I think that what happens here is what actually happened in Europe like 15 or 20 years ago. Like, because America is behind Europe in a time difference of 15, 20 years. If America doesn't watch it, 20 years from today, America might look like what Europe looks like today. So definitely, people who are in charge of legislation and all kinds of other regulations should be the watchdog in order to save this country from the fate of Europe. Otherwise, you are following Europe with open eyes.
Sir, Dr. Kedar, how would you vet people coming into America? And in other words, we had 1 million who have, and we know that there are half of America wants to bring, I think it's 500 times that. How would you screen?
Look, let's say, theoretically, that I invented the way how to screen everybody. Let's say. Assume that I gave you the answer, and I give you the whole way how to make sure that those who come here are good people who are not coming to divert America. But what happens is that people change. I'll give you what happens usually in Europe. As you might know, in Europe the problem is not so much with the immigrants themselves. I'm talking about the last 20 years. They usually thank the European country which hosts them very well because this country gave them a shelter, gave them a house, gave them a health system, gave them education, gave them a job and good life. The problem usually was with the second generation. Their children who were born in Europe speak perfect local language, French, whatever, and they learn in school that everybody is equal. But when they graduate, when they apply to work, when they try to go to clubs, and when they try to have girlfriends, they find out that everybody equals, but there are those who equal more. Means that they are not really part of the society. Not only this, imagine a family with, let's say, 2 brothers and 2 sisters and parents. And the sisters are going to the local public school, and one of the sisters, let's say, is 16 years old, and she's in the 10th grade. One day she comes home with a green curl. What is this? What, green. They died. So sad, the girls in my class, one girl came with a dye, and we dyed a curl to every girl. I want to be like everyone. Okay. You know? Okay. The other day she comes home with a